guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. We're back. It's Monday, and new management, out with the old, in with the new. We've got Ruud van Nistelrooy, unbeaten so far. Won his first game, and then, convincingly, and then had a good result, what looked like a good result, considering how we've been playing against Chelsea at home yesterday. Thanks to you, Bath Time. You've done a great post-match show. You and Dora really went in, really sort of gave it all the emotion. And it was a good watch. It was definitely a good watch. I watched it today at work. I wasn't able to watch it last night, so I watched it today at work. You two, good chemistry between the two of you.
Did you enjoy the bowls chat?
Yeah, I enjoyed everything. It made me laugh. I had it on my headphones at work. It was really funny. Yeah, so good result and good show. Good show. And obviously there's no eye test, but we're just learning, aren't we? Because tomorrow night we've got something special, something a bit unusual for us, but it's well worth. I think we're talking backstage, something that I think is going to be crucial for all of us on the channel, and maybe everyone watching as well. Tell everyone what you're doing tomorrow, Bath Time.
Well, so I think we're going to do a show maybe like 10:10, something like that, just after 10 o'clock. And we're going to have watched Sporting versus Manchester City. So we can kind of, like, everyone will have the same game that they've seen with Amorim. We can talk about like how, in my opinion, it's really, really different to what I think people are expecting. It's much more direct. Like, we're going to see them against a Premier League team, the best Premier League team, and we're gonna kind of see what Amorim's about and what challenges he might face with this system. And I just think it would be really nice to watch a football team that's not Manchester United and have a really unbiased, be able to say, oh, that Gyökeres is a bit overrated, or that left back's pretty tasty, or something. Just have no bias or anything. I think it's going to be really, really fun. Andrew, the US election coverage doesn't get going until 1 a.m. You'll be fine.
It's the US election tomorrow.
Yeah.
So November the 5th. What's November the 5th? Is that bonfire night?
That is bonfire night.
Okay, so there will definitely be fireworks tomorrow. And this election seems very, very dramatic at the moment.
It's all turning on a squirrel.
Sorry?
It's all turning on a squirrel.
Turning on a squirrel?
Do you know about this? The squirrel?
I've never heard that expression, no.
No, I mean, it literally, it's not expressing anything. There was a squirrel that had a social media account of 500,000 followers. Like, it was called Peanut, and it was really popular. And like, the Democrats' head of environmental stuff in New York City came in and killed it. And people are very, very mad about it. So they genuinely think the election might have turned on this squirrel.
Oh, wow. Ridiculous. I don't want to get into politics because I've got my own thoughts in it, and it won't be suitable for this channel or any kind of platform. So let's not talk about these things because
please.
I don't want to take you down my rabbit hole of things, you know. But let's go for some comments. I want to say hi to Andrew Williams. He says, so depressed watching United chat. Now we are going for another complete rebuild. Do not see it. I put my neck out. We don't finish in the top 8 in the next 3 years. Wow. It's big. I want to say hi to Mehdi. He's saying, I'm here to tell you that we will disagree on Xerxes. I have faith in him. Hi, by the way. So, yeah, that's a good topic to discuss because he's been getting pelters as well as other players right now. Simon Warner, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good evening, the Magnificent 2. Bring 5 more and it'll be 7. I was going to say, Mason Mount. No, forget about that. Forget about that. I wasn't going to go there. But the serious fan saying, I concur with Andrew, which Andrew's basically saying we're doomed. It's not going to turn around so easily. Big up to Tyrone Williams. How you doing, Tyrone? Good to see you, man. He's saying 10:10 ain't bad. That's all right.
Come on then, Tyrone.
Yeah, come on, Ty. Andrew Williams saying here, I'll be watching you. We know about that. Wow. Here we go. Solo. He got me one because Solo was really anti Ten Hag. I haven't heard what you've got to say about the new manager and the change, Solo. So it'd be great to hear from you today. See what you think about the new manager. Most of the players, says Simon Warner, I would choose would be on the selling list. According to Rich and United TV, Amorim wants to spend 90 million on the Napoli Georgian winger. I'm not going to pronounce his name. I'll be really pleased. He's someone who'd fit in really well at Manchester United. I think so as well. On my way to work as well. Okay, well, maybe you won't be able to tell us much. There's some odds there. Big up to Matthew Bassett. Big up to Vincent. I saw Vincent posted from the game yesterday. Done one of these selfies from the pitch, you know. You got a great seat there, bro. Really good seat Vincent has. Tyrone's talking about politics. You can hear what he says there. I'm not going to get into that. Matthew saying bath time. And Yabba, how'd you get on over the weekend? Subvids, how you doing? Good to see you. Bumped into Jay last night. He said he can't wait to come back on the Man United agenda very soon. That's nice. That's nice. And Mr. B is in the house as well. He's saying, evening, ladies and gentlemen. And Simon Warner saying there's a film called The Magnificent 2.
If you haven't seen The Magnificent 2, are you able to understand what's going on in The Magnificent 7? Or do you need to have seen the rest of them?
I think Simon Warner's pulling our leg. He's pulling our leg here. There is no film called Magnificent 2. Magnificent 7, I've seen that. That's a classic there. That is a classic. Welcome, everyone. Just want to say welcome. Oh, here's one more. That's a good one. Is everyone convinced he's going to be playing 3-4-3? That's a good question as well. Half time.
Yeah, hello.
Question and answer with you. Okay. So Andrew said here, is everyone convinced he played 3-4-3? I'm a bit confused because maybe I didn't really take things in. I was so busy yesterday. Did Ruud van Nistelrooy in his first game play something similar to Amorim? And yesterday, did he go back to a 4 at the back or a thing? Is there any indication that he's trying to sort of get that process with the players into an Amorim system for the last 2 games?
I'm not sure, because I was thinking to myself the other day, if I was Ruben Amorim, would I phone Ruud? Would I phone Bruno, Delot, players that I'm likely to know? Like, would I be getting involved with Manchester United? And I think I probably wouldn't, to be honest. I'd be focused at the task in hand. But Ruud definitely finished the Leicester game in a 3-4-3 shape. Like, Bruno was sort of playing deep but wide left. Delot was playing like as a really far forwards winger. It was definitely a different shape. However, I think that might be because it was a bit of a free hit, the Leicester game. They put a poor team out. It's a cup competition. Like, Amorim's brief, I think, would have been, it's got to be the league. Got to get that league position up. We've done cups now. So we then get to a league game against Chelsea and we play like a 4-5-1 essentially, or a 4-4. You know, we play with 4 at the back and things like that. And I think that maybe Ruud was kind of, it might have been suggested to Ruud by a few people that we can like do a little audition against Leicester, but against Chelsea we go for results. And I think that is most indicated by the fact that we saw in my opinion, one of the most shameful substitutions I've seen a Manchester United team make, which is putting Victor Lindelof in midfield for the last 5 minutes, 1-1 in a home game.
What was that about? Talk to me. What do you think? Because I was a bit confused by that. I thought someone was injured. He's played in midfield before. Don't forget, he has played there before. Not often. What's the situation with Lindelof playing in midfield? Who else was there on the bench?
Fletcher, I think, was there. Collier was there. Like, it's about shutting up shop, I think, because I think that the Rashford substitution was probably a combination of his petulance getting him a yellow, but also Marc Cucurella was causing us problems. And I think Amad Diallo is a better defender than Rashford. They put him on. Like Caicedo and Lavia, I know they got a huge amount of of flowers and like love letters and things. I don't think that they're very good, and we're losing every second ball to them. And so he put Lindelof on to shut up shop and to try and protect a point instead of going a poor Chelsea team that looked like they were stretched. Like, unfortunately, Rasmus, who had a dreadful afternoon, in my opinion, when he went off, we carried no more threat at all. So Ruud probably just thought, let's get Victor on. Victor's appeared twice under Ruud. He might like him quite a lot. But and I think he got someone on that he trusted to see the game out, which I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. Like,
but that shows something about Ruud. He's clearly, knows how to manage a game. He wants to. The ideal is to see out the game. It'll be a good point. No one's complaining. Everyone's saying it's a good point. I haven't heard many people say they're disappointed, and people are saying we played okay.
We didn't play okay.
Well, this is what the majority of people are saying. And I've just got a quote here from Ruud, because I just want to assess him as a manager, because obviously he's in charge at the moment and knowing that someone's coming in as well. So he can do what he wants and show a little something. And I think he did yesterday with that decision to bring Lindelof on to seal the game up. He said here, he's asked about Ugarte, and obviously he's been working with Ugarte since he's been at the club. And he says here, you should be careful with early conclusions regarding Manuel Ugarte. He's a great signing, says Ruud van Nistelrooy. Martin, he calls him Menu, is very good. He has very specific qualities in midfield, getting in between players to recover balls to get us into attacking positions. So he's giving Ugarte rave reviews. He's obviously seen him in training, qualified to talk about him. He's saying he's a great signing, specifically because of his qualities in midfield, getting in between players to recover balls to get us in attacking positions. Did you see that yesterday with Ugarte on the pitch?
Yeah, a little bit. What I would say firstly about talking about Ugarte is a company signing. Like, Ineos wanted Ugarte, and he's been their biggest signing since we've come in. He's the man that they've chased. Like, that, you know, maybe you can make an argument for Yoro, but Ugarte's been the main summer signing. Our last main summer signing was Mason Mount, and before that it was Casemiro. So there's a huge amount, I think, being placed on getting Ugarte to be seen as a success, because it reflects on the structure, it reflects on Ineos, gives more confidence, that little goblin, Dan Ashworth, and Omar Barada and stuff. And you wouldn't expect Ruud to come out and say, look, Ugarte lost, I think 90% of his duels. It was he won 2 duels out of 12 or something like that. He had a poor game. But I find it more interesting that they weren't talking about Xerxes, that they were talking about Ugarte, because Xerxes had a stinker. And we've seen Ugarte put a decent performance in against Leicester. But when I'm going to guess now, this speculation, Yabus, please don't shout at me for speculating. If you're an interim manager and you come in, I think that your basically main remit is to make sure that everyone feels confident and happy and ready to go when the new manager comes in. So you're about sort of building the players up, maybe relieving a bit of the pressure on them, like bringing them back together as a group. And Ugarte's had a terrible time since he's come to United. He hasn't played very much. He's been having to go on international breaks. He might not be integrated into the dressing room because he's not integrated into the team yet.
Yeah. And
it might just be Ruud being a bit of a human and kind of like giving Ugarte that public boost, because it's not like Ugarte isn't going to know that people haven't been impressed with the signing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what he's done there, he indicated to the journalists and the media what it is that's good about him. It's a specific thing. So he's sort of highlighting here that you can't see straight away what he does really well. He said he's a great signing. He said you should be careful of early conclusions regarding Ugarte, because basically you don't see, not you, Bath Time, but he's saying the journalist.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so I didn't want you to snap at me, you know, but you don't see what he does really well. And this is what I'm saying. If he said, "Oh, he's a great player, he's cool, whatever," but he's actually broke down to say to anyone undermining him as a player, you will see in time.
We saw Fergie do this with Veron. Do you not remember Fergie did basically the same thing with Veron? Veron. Yeah, he called them all effing idiots. and said they knew nothing about football, Varane will be a great player, and you need to know football to understand it. It's like, it's not like Ruud has come out and sort of given a scouting report on Ugarte. He's talking to the fans mainly, saying like, give the signing time, but he's trying to boost Ugarte's confidence up a little bit, because that's his kind of remit. I wouldn't read a huge amount into this beyond the fact that when Amorim comes in, there'll be a couple of players, Kobe, Garnacho, Ugarte, Yoro, the structure will say we really want to see them develop as players, improve, and things like that. That's all I'd really take from it. The rest of it is just kind of the wishy-washy modern football stuff of like just overexposing managers to press cameras and things.
But you asked the question, Bath time, about being an interim manager, what your role is, what your job is to do. And this is what we're seeing here. By him making statements like that, he's sort of digging up these guys from the mud and presenting them in a new light and saying, Lindelof, come on, get some minutes. Remember him, letting everyone know, here's Lindelof. Remember this guy, the guy that never played much under the previous manager, who was shunned. Remember Ahmed, coming on the pitch, having a little cameo. Remember Ugarte, all the good qualities he has. He's reinforcing the qualities of these guys. So when the new manager comes in, people will be buzzing. People will have something to prove. And I think it's a good thing from Ruud. Andrew Williams saying here, Ruud has been impressive. So I want to just touch on this for a few minutes to say, what have you seen from Ruud? I mean, that makes you think that he could be a good manager in the future. He's had a bit of spell as a manager at PSV. Now he's got interim management. What do you think about? First, let's talk about his media persona. How do you think he talks with the media? Does he come across as someone? Because it is important. I never used to think this is important, but it is important to be how you address the media and how you present yourself. How do you think he presents himself for the last couple of games as Manchester manager?
I think he's been absolutely fine. I'm not sure why we would want to focus on Ruud when we know who the new manager coming in is, but Ruud has history with the club, and not all of it is good. Like, he refused to come on after he was benched in the cup final, and that's why essentially he left the club. He had a huge fallout with Ferguson that he had to patch up many years later. But Ruud's connection with fans has always been, it's been one of the stronger ones. It's a bit like Jaap Stam, where we would like, he didn't win a huge amount, Ruud. We'd liked him to have done better. We were fighting it out against Arsenal at the time, before we moved to the sort of Tevez, Rooney, like Ronaldo team. But Ruud is one of the best strikers Premier League's ever seen, and he's still held in that regard by our fans. So the connection between Ruud and fans is very good, and he seems like, when he first came, I think he was very Dutch, very arrogant, very blunt. And now when you see him with fans and with the media, he's got a very kind of like motherly side to him. He seems like a very gentle giant, and he's genuinely like, there's some lovely clips of him interacting with fans outside of Old Trafford and so on. As a manager, I haven't really seen a huge amount to impress me or to discourage me. I think that his substitutions against Chelsea were negative, that he was looking to protect what he had rather than go for it. And that could just be a measure of the playing squad and who's around him. But all I really want from Ruud is for him to prepare this squad mentally so that when Amorim turns up, there is belief that everyone's got a chance of playing and that the players believe in themselves, because I think that that's some of the stuff that Erik ten Hag took away from them in the end. So you've got to have faith, Amondo.
Okay.
Yabba.
Okay. I'll go with that. Here's another quote from Roy Keane, obviously post-match. You've told me about this. I didn't see the Sky Sports post-match review of the Chelsea game, but Roy Keane said here, the team are way off top four and competing. They are average at everything. And this is post-match. And here's some stats here. Man United have their lowest points total after 10 league fixtures since 1986. The season which saw Alex Ferguson take charge on November the 6th after 13 matches. 12 points from 10 games means it's the worst start to a league season for United since 1986-1987. Something I know the numbers are a big thing, if you like numbers, but we got the same in 1986. I think we got the same results, maybe lost the same amount of games, and before the manager was changed as we have today. So there's some chemistry there between what happened when Berger came in and the new manager. They're always trying to bring up some kind of a connection there, which is just I don't really sort of go with that. So you want to come into the side and make a difference. As we'll talk about the new manager now coming in. I think he's got an opportunity now to become a legend, to turn this around. But I think the work's been done for him already. The players have been brought in, and we have to ask the question: are the players good enough? Because Roy Keane's trashing us, saying we won't make top four. But do you think the players that we have under a different manager, because that was posed before, can perform and get top four? Considering we've been third in recent years, we've been second in recent years, with maybe a lesser team. So, is it an easier job than maybe it looks from the outside with Man United, with our new manager coming in, based on the quality of players we have?
So I suppose you're asking me if Keane is just sort of doing like careless whispers and like kind of playing to the crowd a bit. I think when you look at this collection of players, the absolute maximum, the ceiling is getting fourth. And that also depends on clubs like Villa, Spurs and Chelsea not being able to find consistency. I think that this, normally when you talk about a squad, you want more freedom given to the players, but this lot look like they need less freedom, to be honest. They need to just follow basic rules. I don't believe in this squad of players, to be perfectly honest. I think that what you have to first start off with is who are the players that make themselves available when their body's hurt, when times are hard, when you have to go out under pressure and sort of play in front of fans and the media who don't rate you and don't like you. And I don't think there's nearly enough characters like that in the team. For every Maguire, we've got a Mason Mount who seems like a lovely boy, but am I right in thinking he hasn't played since he got a pretty minor cut on his head?
Yeah, you're right. If that's the injury, apparently it is. I thought he torn something, but if that's the injury, he's kept it out for weeks, and there's no indication he's been on the bench or being close to it. Haven't heard a thing. But yeah,
that's throwing to me. That's throwing Erik ten Hag under the bus. Doing stuff like that, not making yourself available. We know that Shaw made himself available for England.
Yeah,
he didn't make himself available for Manchester United. Like Harry Maguire didn't go to the Euros because he made himself available for United. Like when he was injured, like Johnny Evans has made himself available. Like I don't know if you remember this, but like McTominay played with a knee injury for like the back end of the season, and his Euros was in doubt.
Yeah,
like Bruno played with one leg as a centre half against Liverpool. Like where like Varane, I think that he kind of let us down a little bit. Casemiro, players like that. So I think that there is a cultural problem in the team where I don't know if it's that they just don't believe in themselves or they don't believe in their teammates, but I think that a lot of them are kind of hiding and not being good enough to get out the pitch. And then we get out on the pitch. Rashford, I think he's been used a little bit incorrectly, and like you're never going to get real defensive performances out of Marcus Rashford. He's not like a Dirk Kuyt or a Brian Mbeumo or a Salah who's got like a kind of long range engine who's going to be able to get back and double up and then break and things like that. So there's question marks about if some of the players are suited to the system that we're playing. But what we do know, Yabba, is that we don't score enough goals. Our defense is okay this season, to be honest. The goals we're conceding are on par with pretty much everyone else's. Like you would say, you would say Arsenal and City haven't started particularly well. I would think, but we're not leaking goals at an incredible rate. The problem is that we can't score goals, and does that come down to setup, how the players are prepared, or the individual quality of the players?
Okay, bath time.
And that's for you.
You just stated bath time. We don't score goals. Okay,
we don't.
And you asked the question: is it because of the setup or something else? Let me just give you a stat here about this goal scoring thing. Just bear with me. Man United, have missed 24 big chances in the Premier League this season. That's the most by any other club. So we don't score goals, but we have missed the most big chances than any other club this season at 24.
All right, tell me what that means to you.
So that to me means that we create big chances. Means like
I understand. We're making chances,
but we're not scoring them. So that suggests to me that we're not finishing our dinner, which means you have to start looking at the two strikers. I don't think Haaland has got that. I can't think of many opportunities he's had. I know Garnacho, we hit the post the other day. We've had chances. Going back to that first game against Fulham, where Bruno had a couple of one-on-ones. Those are big chances that you usually see put away, So I'm not just blaming the strikers, but for some reason, we're doing okay, getting the big chances, but we're not finishing them off, which says something about the mindset. I think, as you know, playing in great teams yourself, Bath time over the years. Well, you play great.
I've played in good teams, yeah.
Well, I say great teams because it's good to have you around,
Thank you.
I'm playing in your team right now, Man United Agenda. We're teammates in this whole thing.
So, we're in Club Tropicana.
Yeah. How much are drinks in Club Tropicana?
I think they're free, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I told this to my friend the other day, and she. Anyway, you throw me off track, but.
I just want to just ask you before you get back onto that thing about playing great teams and stuff. If you were to take this stat as reflective of what you're seeing on the football pitch, where we've missed the most big chances, I think that what that would say to me, in the way you're using it, is that the system is good because it's creating chances, and the forwards are not scoring them. And you say that's a mentality thing.
Yeah.
Is it not actually just that the forwards are not very good because they've missed the most big chances in the Premier League? That would suggest that they're not operating at a Premier League standard.
I'm not going to say that because I'm a Xerxes man, and I know you're going to come for me today. I can feel it. You're breathing down my neck about this Xerxes thing. That's going to be a topic that's going to come up at some point in the show about Xerxes because you're disappointed with him. But
that's because you're bewitched by him.
I think he's a good player. I just think the way he's been criticised in the last couple of games is unfair coming on, and it's his first season in the league. I think it's really unfair the way people are going at him and expecting like too much from him at the moment. Let me just say this, going back to the point about the 24 big chances missed. Like you said, yeah, something's working. We're getting the chances, but we're not finishing them. I think it comes with confidence. Now, maybe the manager needs to go. We scored 5 goals against Leicester. Do you see what I'm saying? See where I'm going here? I think it's not necessarily we might think our strikers might be poor, which they are. They're not the greatest finishers in world football, but I think the team will start to score more goals now that this pressure or this presence of Ten Hag has gone and a new manager's coming in. As you know, that always seems to be the case. They turn it up. They need to impress. They want their futures on the line here. They want to be in favour of the manager. Because you know how it is, Bath time. Like, just my point. You know, like you could be a good player, just sign a new contract, then your manager gets sacked, and someone else comes in and they don't fancy you. You just don't fancy you. That's it. There's nothing you can do about it. You can train hard, but they just don't. They don't do you. And then next thing you know,
I disagree with that.
What you're saying is nothing you can do to turn it around.
Yeah, I disagree with that because after I met Latin America, I moved to Spain on another kind of dodgy tax thing, and the manager thought that he was getting a 6'4" Englishman pace and power, And then I turned up talking about Dungeons and Dragons and demanding to know where I could weigh myself after meals. But I know he didn't like me. But I worked hard, and when I got into the team, I played for the rest of the season. Like he couldn't, and it was about taking opportunity, making sure that you were prepared when you got the chance, and you will get a chance. So even if the manager doesn't really like you or is unconvinced by you, it's your responsibility to show them what you've got.
Sorry to go back and forth on this one, but I don't agree with that half-time. I think there's been many occasions when you watch these podcasts of footballers, they will tell you there's certain times they've been in the club, a manager comes in and they can never get a look in again. You know, they just don't fancy it, and for some reason they won't play you. Even if you work your socks off, they just won't play you, and you're better off leaving. There's so many stories like this. It's kind of like,
but that's kind of the difference between us and like Premier League footballers, isn't it? I think we had Barry on once who like found out he was going to be sold by the manager's wife in Sainsbury's or something.
Yeah.
And that was the Doncaster Rovers captain. But I think, do you know what I think it is, Yabba? Is that's more taking the easy option out. A new manager comes in. Like, I don't think that in today's day and age, the manager will come and sit you in and say, right, I've seen you play, throw your medals in the bin, I don't rate you. I just don't, I can't see those conversations happening in football because of how incestuous it is with agents and things like that. I think that they'll tell you what they want from you and things like that, and that players will take the easy way out and will say to their agent, I'm not sure about this. What is out there on the market? But for real footballing men, I think that you've got to have that kind of fire inside you where you will not accept reality that is being presented to you, and you're going to do everything you can to change it. So you'll get players like last season, McTominay and Maguire, who I think changed their reality.
Yeah, okay. Good example.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. And those are the kind of characters that we need in. Like, if Bilal wants a quiz, why doesn't Bilal come on and do a quiz?
Is that Bilal or I Am Titanium?
Yeah, I Am Titanium is Bilal. He's called Tommy as well on Twitter. He's like you. He's just got thousands of names.
Yeah, if you want a quiz, no doubt, just name the day. If you want to come on, seriously, if you want to come on the quiz, please just give us a shout, message us on Twitter. And we arrange it. We arrange it for you. It's just that everyone seems afraid to face the quizmaster these days. So if you're brave enough, make sure you come on and represent, guys. All right.
Just to finish the point, Yabba. That kind of, I'll call it the Maguire mentality to kind of keep you invested in it. I think that like those kind of players. And I'll give you another one, right? He's a Premier League legend. He's the third highest scorer, I think, in the Premier League. He might be fourth. His manager, when he came in, didn't want him. And that is Sergio Aguero. When Pep Guardiola came in, he made himself undroppable. He made himself into a legend, as horrible as it is. And when you look around that squad, and you look at Rashford, you look at Bruno, you look at the player Garnacho, you look at the players that are under a bit of fire, like Xerxes. Who do you think there has got that will, that bloody mindedness, and that desire to make themselves like irreplaceable to the manager in the same way that? And I'm genuinely not being ironic here. Every manager was in love with McTominay by the time that they left the club because he did what they wanted. He worked hard. He showed mentality on the pitch. He led the training. He led the standards in training. And that is, we kind of need more of that in the squad, I think. And maybe, that's why Lindelof came on like for the last 5 minutes, because Ruud sees him as that kind of player, just one he can trust.
Yeah, most certainly. Should we do some comments? Because we haven't.
Yes.
There's loads of comments coming through. I'm just going to randomly go through the ones I've touched upon, and let's see what they're saying. Simon's saying here, the air around the ground has been a lot lighter more friendly since Ruud van Nistelrooy got an interim job. Andrew saying here, Ruud van Nistelrooy at United was one of the best finishers we ever had. And I've seen Andy Cole and Dennis Law also mentioned as well. Bart, how you doing? He says, I liked that Ruud played for us at Hamburg too in his twilight. He was a model pro. I'm a bit disappointed that his mentality hasn't rubbed.
Hang on a second, Yabba. Has Bart just referred to us as Hamburg and is officially renouncing any claims to being a Liverpool fan?
He's a Kevin Keegan fan.
He's been converted. We've done it.
It's the link with Kevin Keegan. I don't know. But yeah, Bart, you've messed up there. We've caught you out. We deserve better saying here, he has nothing to lose. He should be going for it in matches, not protecting his record. So that's the point we sort of touched upon, didn't we? About bringing on Lindelof, being defensive, trying to secure the draw, and go for the win. So we deserve better. Would prefer a more attacking mentality, a bit like you.
He deserves better.
Yeah, exactly. We all do deserve better than that.
Yeah.
Big D saying here, Keane's a god in my eyes. Whatever he says, I agree with him. He has been critical, hasn't he? Saying we can't come top four. Top four, no chance, says Andrew Williams. That's this season. Our ex-player pundits are getting tiresome. There's some good ones out there who really back our team. We have 9 goals in 10 games.
Oof.
So that was the issue we talked about. Our defence has been okay, not conceding as many, even though we've got 3 and 3 against Spurs and Liverpool. But Arsenal...
Well, take Leicester out of that, Yabba. Take the Leicester result out of that. And is that, what, 4 in 9?
I'm talking about goals conceded, our defence.
Well, this is goals scored, I think.
We have 9 goals in 10 games, but I was just referring to the goal. That's not good. But I'm saying in defence.
Oh right, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't follow.
Yeah. Apparently, I heard today that Arsenal, who are sort of dropping off a little bit, they're getting a lot of criticism right now. They've only conceded 1 more goal or 1 less goal than us at the moment in the league. How are we going to score enough goals? Good question. We talked about that. That's where I talked about the 24 big chances we've had this season. I think it's going to come down to confidence and clicking. Sasha Guna, how you doing? Ruud van Nistelrooy in, okay, maybe not. The Ruud van Nistelrooy for president. Okay, there you go. Talking there. Big G's in the house. Skulls and Butt podcast was class. I've been watching a lot of that. You been watching that by half time?
There's a Skulls and Butt podcast.
Yeah, I've mentioned it the other day. It's really good. Really shows what is needed United players. Yeah, the other day we were talking about leadership. Man United players and leaders, and
it's a regular thing.
It's a regular
Skulls
thing.
And Butt.
Honestly, it's very good. Great insight into what they've been through, and they've got great experience. Skulls is
they're the last 2.
You'd say that. You'd trust me.
Would do a podcast.
You'd say that.
Gary's been on at them.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's really good stuff. And Skulls.
Oh, I'm going to mainline that.
Yeah, but here we go. We talk about legends like this: Keane, Cantona, Robson. These are the players that are in their dressing room when they were coming through. What's really helped carry the club. Great characters like that, which we don't seem to have right now, do we?
I think Gary Neville should always be included in the great captains for Manchester United as well. I think that he's really disregarded as a captain, and I know people are against Gary Neville and Keane and the rest of them at the moment. I think it's really good that we've got voices that are demanding United get better and are not settling for this absolute dross. Like I can't remember well enough, Yabba, but Alan Hansen used to be on Match of the Day, and they used to have lots of Liverpool players in the media. Did they ever
Thompson, Phil Toy, Emily Hughes? Sorry.
Yeah. Were they dragging, when Liverpool didn't win a league for 30 years, were they accepting the Spice Boys and stuff like this? Because I think it shows the mentality of our players from that era, that they are saying that this is shocking, the pressing, the work rate, the commitment, the desire, throwing the manager under the bus. I think it's absolutely great that we have that from people that have played football and that understand football and are doing it, because Bruno Fernandes can't turn round to Scholes and say, show me your medals and stuff like that. They're living legends. And I really like the fact that they're trying to hold the players' feet to the fire. And because they're the ones, in my opinion, that are keeping the standards going, not the players on the pitch.
Okay. Good point. Talk about the 24 big chances, more than any other club that we've created, but missed this season. And Andrew said he doesn't buy that stat, and says here you're quoting a rubbish stat, so irrelevant stat, says Andrew. Stephanie saying here, if hitting the woodwork was a goal, we would be top.
This is what I mean. I remember one year I saw a table that was made up by Liverpool fans saying if hitting the woodwork counted as a goal, they'd have won the league. And that's what I mean about the standards and stuff. I know that's not what Steph means, but
just remember that Garnacho chance where he I think he won the game, but he fluffed the chance, open goal, basically. They all come back to me now. Tyro saying here, Yabba. Sorry, Bartholomew, what was that?
Rashford hit it like crashing the woodwork against Chelsea as well at the weekend.
That's true. Tyro saying here, Yabba is right to give Xerxes a chance, but judging by what I've seen, he looks poor. It's fair. It's Xerxes' hair that hypnotized Yabba.
You're bewitched.
With this, yeah. Is that because of this bow tie thing?
Well, it's because you're wearing denim and a bow tie. I think you look very pretty tonight, Yabba. You're bringing back 90s girl bands in my mind.
Well, you did say you got to have faith earlier. That's George Michael.
And Careless Whisper.
Yeah, he did. Any more 80s on the theme of 80s, looking cool. Remember Shakin' Stevens? He used to have a jacket like this, behind the green jaw, that sort of thing. But yeah, any 80s puns, I know you love them. Iron Titanium, bring them on, especially you, Stephanie. Our players haven't got medals to throw in the bin.
And they'd miss.
Andrew saying, good points, Darius. There are a few players who down tools, others step up. That's true. We talked about the great characters that you need in the game. Big up to James. He said, that's poor. Don't know who you're talking about, but I agree with you. Big up to Mr. POTUS. Big day in the US. He's saying here, it doesn't matter who the manager is that comes in. Even with Pep, we wouldn't be different. Our players do not have the drive or discipline to hold each other accountable day in and day out. Big up to you, POTUS. I'll tell you, I talked to Mr. POTUS on Instagram. We have little private messages together and chat. Really nice guy, and it's great. I mean, guys, to sort of
you're not talking politics and theories.
No, we don't talk politics. We talk football and music.
Yeah,
just nice chat like that. So big up to you, Mr. POTUS. V is in the house. Do you remember that series? We're talking about 80s. Remember V?
I absolutely love V, where they replace the Nazis with aliens and the Jews with scientists.
Oh, you think that's the theme of it? Oh, okay.
But of course, that's the theme of it.
Nothing to do with reptilians.
No, that's like, I mean, that's about a kind. I mean, that's a metaphor, not literal. But yeah. I think that V is certainly the first season is brilliant. I particularly enjoy it where he's riding a horse in Grand Park Central with like a spaceship shooting lasers at him behind. I think that's real TV to me.
This came. I remember really clearly because it came out in 1984, and then there's the leader of the V aliens was Diana.
Yeah, man.
Really, I hated her, but I was in love. I had a secret.
Did you see the remake?
You know what? I was going to bring it up because my friend, he said to me, "You've got to watch the remake. They've really changed it." He's really into like conspiracies and all that. He said you really have to watch it, but I've never got around to watching it. I want to.
It's not very good. It's a metaphor for Obama's healthcare system. Okay. The aliens come with the promise to cure any disease for free. And it's really heavy-handed about the dangers of sort of socialism but the Diana in that is pretty fit as well. I don't rate it. And as for who does my hairstyle, your mother, V. She wants something to hold on to.
V, enough respect to you, man. You got your shirt on as well. Big up, United fan. Want to say hi to Trevor Fever. How you doing? Good evening, he's saying there as well. Who else we got here? We're running it down. No, talking about that show. Nicky Butt was the worst player of the class of 92. I just don't like him. Ill pass. I disagree, Andrew. I think Phil Neville. Well, out of the guys, the top guy. If you're saying like the five Neville brothers, Beckham, Scholes, and Butt, forget Thornley and those guys, and Giggs maybe. That's six. I don't think Butt's the worst player there. I think Phil Neville's the worst player there.
I think Butt was one of the most important players there. They still speak about Butt as kind of being their leader, the class of 92. Like, obviously, Keane and Cantona and stuff were the ones, but the one who kind of seemed to have been the leader in their group was Butty. And I like Butt because I like thank you. I like physical players. I like players that have work rate and standards and things.
Yeah.
And I think that Butt was probably the least gifted of all of them, but it's the mentality, the desire, the commitment that sort of got him there. And you need players like that in your squad. And
just add as well, we talk about Butt. People love Paul Scholes, but Butt kept Paul Scholes outside a lot of the time. People tend to forget that. Big games.
Yeah, you needed him.
Nicky Butt was playing ahead of Paul Scholes.
And also, Phil, I think, was better technically than Gary, which is why he played like in different positions around the pitch.
Yeah. Takes them for half time. Very good. Obviously, Pele said, but what did he say? His Butt's one of the best players of the World Cup or something.
Yeah, it was his player of the World Cup.
Okay, there you go. Valencia underrated captain. Obviously, Mark Lawrenson, TV pundit, who's really grumpy. I don't like his style.
And Mark Lawrenson.
V saying here, Man United's entire front line needs to be changed. New right winger, new left winger, and a new striker as well. Let's see. Nicky Butt, says Andrew, sometimes got dropped for an average fullback, Phil Neville, and we nearly always see better something. Okay.
We always played better.
Always played better. I'm seeing Banana Rama, says we deserve better. I'm your Venus. I'm your fire. All right. PM Dawn, yeah. I see that as well. I see that. They do that Spandau Ballet beat, don't they?
I don't know who PM Dawn are.
True. The tune by Spandau Ballet called True.
I like that.
Yeah, there's a PM Dawn, fat guy with glasses and wears little stupid bandana like this. Does a remix of that rhythm as well.
The 80s must have been amazing. I watch it on telly, and it just looks like the best decade.
Yeah.
I'd have been a yuppie.
Were you around in the 80s?
89, I was born. But I'd love to have been a yuppie with slick back hair, a massive brick, wandering around. It must have been great.
Thanks, Thatcher, for that. I want to see Ineos clear out the drosh. If they don't, nothing will change, says V. Diana was fit, no doubt about it. There's obviously Jonathan was in it as well. I think Jonathan
he was the junior Nazi, wasn't he? Didn't he do the Young Visitors Alliance or something?
I think he
was meant to be the Hitler Youth
who went with the Alliance, or was he the main?
Was he Freddy Krueger then?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Great minds think alike. They're talking politics in the chat. Here we go. What to say? One player really disappointed with me the weekend was Ugarte. We touched on him earlier. He gave the ball away cheaply many times, committed pointless fouls. Let's talk about the game because there's been a take which is going around which I don't like. Two players we will touch on. One, we've done Ugarte already, but Garnacho and Xerxes. Now, everyone's talking about these two players. Garnacho's stock has gone down from one game. What were the allegations against him? Too greedy, head down, doesn't pass. I mean, I disagree with everything being said about him right now. Does anything stand up for you, bath time?
Yeah.
Talk Garnacho. Come on.
All right. I'll give you some positives about Garnacho first. I'll give some positives about Ugarte. Well, not positives, but essentially excuses. They've been asked to run too much, and they're not fit enough. Garnacho is avaricious, to say the least, meaning that he is really concerned about himself. I don't think that any attacking action he takes isn't about him trying to score a goal. He's too unbalanced when he finishes. Everyone appears to be in love with Rasmus Højlund. Everyone seems to think that Rasmus Højlund gets bullied by our own team as opposed to centre-backs in other teams, and Garnacho is part of it because he's not giving him tap-ins. I think that Garnacho's a decent player who needs a bit of time on the bench. He needs to be coached because he's missing simple chances over and over again. And he needs a bit of accountability and maybe someone to teach him like how to shape his body up when he's shooting. He's not developing Yabba as a player, but his ego is developing. And I think that's the problem. And then you get performative things like Casemiro, like was late getting out to a player and then just slid in through the back of him, got up and starts shouting at the teenager. And I think that almost works as a sort of dog whistle that allows people to go in on Garnacho when in that particular instance, like as a midfielder, you look at Casemiro there and what he did is embarrassing. Like that genuinely looks like a fat dad at sports day trying to deal with an 11-year-old. So I think I'm not like saying we should sell Garnacho or anything like that, but I think, as Mr. B says, he needs a bit of coaching, a bit of stability, and we probably need more rehearsed attacking patterns so that when Garnacho gets the ball, he kind of has a vague idea of if he's shooting, if he's passing, what he's doing, because he gets the ball and it's just go. Like there's no thought in his head. It's like my dog chasing a car. Doesn't know what he's going to do if he gets it. Like, what's he going to do? We're going to like Thelma and Louise it to Calais on a booze cruise. I don't know.
All right, let's talk about the comments here. Garnacho is too greedy, says Andrew Williams, but surely he is not being coached. Similar to what Mr. B said. Garnacho can't finish for trophy, says Big G. Poter's saying here, Garnacho, I don't care about his missed chances. His problem was that he threw his hands up and shook his head whenever anything didn't go his way, which would stop him from focusing on the next pass. Mr. B saying here, as you said, Garnacho needs guidance. Andrew again, Garnacho is our most dangerous player. Garnacho is relentless. He will always keep trying. That's a good quality. We're talking. Garnacho's a scuffed shot in the second half, and Bruno's rosette shot was completely criminal. I do remember them. Now that great description, because that's what made me remember exactly what went down with those as well. And what else we've got here? Andrew's again saying the bits he's terrible at can be coached. So we haven't given up on him. But what I just think it's one game, and people are a bit frustrated because he had a good chance. He had a volley, I recall.
It's accumulation,
just skimmed over the bar. That was good technique. I like that.
Well, but I think it's an accumulation. Like for the last 4 or 5 games when we've done match reactions, we've talked about how wasteful Garnacho has been, particularly at sort of West Ham, where Andrew is right in the fact he's our most dangerous player. But the reason is because he is the entry into the box. And everyone gets on at Bruno about losing the ball and so on. But sometimes I look around the football pitch and I pretend I'm Bruno Fernandes. You know, like when you watch it, like you probably do the same with like Maguire or something. You think, in that situation, where am I standing? What am I going to do? So when I see Bruno on the ball, I think, where's the pass? And sometimes there's no forward pass through the block. It's always over the block or around the block. And I think that Garnacho's movement is something that is hindering our team because he's the guy that is the entry into the final third, always isolated, always in wide positions. You never really see him coming in and receiving the ball with his back to goal. It's always over the top. And that is what annoys me probably a little bit more than snatching at stuff in the box, because I think that Garnacho is making us one-dimensional, and in the one dimension he's meant to be good at, you're seeing no end product. So I agree with the coaching, but I also think his movement is causing a problem to the team because it's too simplistic and repetitive.
Poster saying here, Garnacho is too heavily relied upon, in my opinion. If he was playing during Sir Alex Ferguson's era, he'd be a super sub, which he should be used for. I think we need senior wingers for him to learn from. He was on fire when he was coming off the bench, wasn't he, a lot of the time? I don't see Garnacho as a sub. He just needs to be told to pass the ball or you will be dropped. One thing I will say,
Can we get one of Bilal's jokes in? He's put so many in tonight.
All right, let's do one here. Sign at a music shop, bean chopping, bark in a minute. Very good. Is there any others? Bilal.
Oh, well, you know what?
I knew I could use really good water.
Oh,
very good.
No.
All right. My issue with Garnacho, obviously, it's not an issue. I'm just surprised people are rinsing him right now. When I see him, we're under a lot of pressure. You give him the ball, and he can drive with it and get defenders backing off. And I think that's a quality that's long gone out of the game. I want to see, look, rather than I want to see people take people on a lot of the time. That's something that they don't really teach anymore. And he's got that ability to do that and scare defenders. And I think, well, he seems sometimes quicker with the ball than without the ball. Do you understand what I'm saying? When he's driving at someone, touch, and change of direction or something, he's really dangerous, especially when he gets in the box. It's a very,
It's their product, though.
Yeah, but the guy is sort of 21, 22 now. I think there's
20.
more to come. Well, there you go. He's only 20 years old.
All right, well, talk to me about Sharpie, Giggs, Chadwick,
yeah.
I mean, players that came into the team extremely young. I know Luke Chadwick isn't the sexiest of options, but he was a player that was about Garnacho's age when he was like playing for United. Like, what was wrong with Giggsy and Sharp's game when they were like 20?
Well, the thing with Giggs, he would drive. He was just unbelievable, wasn't he? He was a rare talent. You rarely see that. I mean, he was able to come into the senior football and do what he was doing at the youth level with, and just scare the life out of defenders, when he was driving at them. And the thing is, he would change direction as well. You're backing off, and there's not much you could do about it, And the thing is, he was relentless. He would keep coming.
But what about his product?
Yeah, but the end product wasn't good for me with Giggs. He didn't have a Beckham-esque delivery. It just so happened that at that time we used to get numbers in the box, so there'd be win the first or second ball, and things would happen. I don't know how many assists Giggs has in Premier League football, but I don't think it's a lot. I just think the fact that he could carry the ball for the side, and we used to have these beautiful counter attacks, and in space of 10 seconds, get the other end of the pitch by him carrying the ball and driving. I think it's really good, and he could hit a man like Cantona, Mark Hughes, and it would stick, and we get second and third ball and win that because of the attitude of the team. Lee Sharp, different quality, great left foot wand, I believe. I've seen him score some beauties, and his delivery was a bit better, but he didn't have the shearing pace of Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs' pace really kept him alive and relevant for a long time, and then he had to work on his game once he lost that and become a sort of more central midfield player. But when I'm seeing Garnacho, I do see similarities between him and maybe Kanchelskis. And when you look at Kanchelskis, Kanchelskis was able to get numbers by driving with the ball, similar to how he does, and not necessarily cross it. He usually want to shoot, and then people get rebounds and second balls and that kind of thing. He should base himself on that, and obviously work on his game and try to get a better delivery in and get the fans on side. But one thing we do know, he's got a great attitude, and he's a bit of a beast, and he seems to love the club. So let's not ruin young players by trashing them just from one bad game. I think that's terrible. And that's why I want to come on to Xerxes as well, because you, Bath Time, have been getting on my tits lately, the way you've been trashing Xerxes just from 10-minute cameos on the pitch. Tell me all about it.
If you go to a shopping centre, sometimes you'll see like an old woman wandering around, and you briefly think, is she okay? Like, is she meant to be here? Does she know where she's going? Should I check on her? That is how I feel when I see Xerxes on the football pitch.
That's not scripted, is it? But,
he genuinely. What I think, right, Yabba, is that like I've said consistently on this channel that every player deserves 18 months, whether it's Anthony or whether it's Bruno, that like they've got to get those 18 months. Xerxes is really testing my patience on this, because I saw a moment in the match where it's kind of written an obituary for him, and it was where the ball got played in, where Bruno did some sort of like back heel volley thing, beautiful improvisation. Xerxes, he didn't have the pace. That's fine. Not all players need to be fast. He didn't have the strength, and he got dealt with by average centre-backs like he was an old woman wandering around the Arndale Centre. He shows no desire. We've seen him score one goal and then miss loads since then. He doesn't get involved. I don't think he's got the character. And most of all, he doesn't appear to want to be at the football club. I'm not a huge fan of Rasmus Højlund. Like, I think he minces about and he looks like something out of a boy band more than a football player. But at least you look at him and think he's trying. Xerxes, I don't think I've seen a United player that has been sort of disliked by fans so quickly as Xerxes. Alan Smith, I think, like, probably had a better time of it than Xerxes has, because like Smudger showed a bit of fight and things. Xerxes, I mean, he looks like, you like the Avengers, don't you?
Yeah, fun, bruv. I watched Avengers. I stayed up late over the weekend. I watched the last two Avengers, Endgame and something.
Yeah.
Crisis, something, whatever. Yeah, I watched two of them. Yeah.
Right,
Anyway,
well, there's a scene where I think it's in Captain America, and he suddenly like wakes up and he runs out and he finds out he's in modern day New York, and he just sort of turns in a circle, completely shocked at what he's seeing. That is what it's like watching Xerxes. He's completely overwhelmed by everything. So these are my thoughts on Xerxes.
From an old lady in Morrison's to Captain America in New York. That's Xerxes. Great examples there. And speaking of examples, we've asked the guys in the comments as well. Xerxes barely played the weekend. Come on, he's a squad player, says POTUS. We've got Sideshow Bob. It's shockingly poor, says Big G, aimed at me. That's outrageous what you said there about the shopping. Yabba about to get mauled shopping centre joke. Well done, Stephanie. That's good. That's a good one. And we've got Bartime is right. Xerxes has no strength, no power, no aggression, not a patch on Martial. How's Martial getting on? I don't even know where he is now. V saying here, I think the rumours regarding Xerxes might be true. He wants to go back to Italy. That's V. POTUS again saying it's true about Xerxes. He just doesn't look interested at all. I don't know what it is with him. I am Titanium saying bath time is your burner account. Shower time. Xerxes has ordered the mobility scooter to the Old Trafford Centre, allegedly. He says, Stephanie, very good. He's saying Avengers is a great group of movies, almost as good as the Dark Knight trilogy. Can we talk about it? Because we're winding down now. We've done an hour, guys. We talked every football. Don't forget, tomorrow is going to be a great day of football because Bath Time is going to be watching Sporting versus Man City. And we're going to be assessing our new boss. That's his last game in charge. And what a great game to come up against a Premier League team, our rivals, Manchester City. And we can see how he sets up against City and what kind of result he has and what, with his team of lesser players. Let's see what his system is.
I'm scared, Yabba, that because City is such a good team, I think that it's not outrageous to say 3-0 to City isn't going to be the score. And I'm a little bit worried about what the reaction is going to be to the score. But
surely you have to assess as well that Sporting, they've got like young players, they've got their squad's not as strong.
Yeah, that's why I want us to watch it.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting. We can't just say just because they lose.
Yeah.
We surely you can sort of read between the lines and sort of say, okay, they do this very well. They sort of set up well. They can play, and it's a great.
Is it the player quality that is the problem, or stuff like that?
Yeah,
that's why
exactly.
It's so important.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Xerxes is hibernating. He will be okay in the spring, says Stephanie. Me and my friends are in a band called Duvet. We're on a
That's
band.
A better one.
I like that one. That's classic. Xerxes should consider shaving his head or at least getting cornrows. You can't head the ball accurately with an afro. Believe me, I've tried it, says V.
Without without getting into systemic racism, Yabba, is that true? With an afro, you can't head the ball? It sounds unlikely to me.
I've got dreadlocks, yeah, and I wish I could shave them all off when I'm playing football because I find sometimes if I don't head the ball, it might bounce off my head and just go somewhere else. So you do need to have a bald head to head the ball correctly. And V said he had an afro at one point, which basically saying he had an afro at some point as well. So he knows that. He knows that's true as well. Just let's go back to this. Here we go. Stephanie saying, Bilal, we need a rendition of Band-Aid so we can all get plastered.
Steph showing levels to you tonight.
These jokes are good. I love them. All right, here's one. V, okay. Guys, come on, because it's been a lot of fun. It's just been talking football, myself, and bath time tonight. Thanks for joining us, guys. Before we sign out, V started something here saying Avengers is a great group of movies. And there's a long list of movies that built up to a great ending, didn't it? It's all geared. If you go back to the movies, you can see, that movie 10 years ago is linked somehow with the skull. What's the name? The Red Skull ended up being in the first Captain America movie and ended up being in the ending, giving the Soul Stone out, sort of thing. So it's all linked and very smart the way they did that. Some trilogies or some movie series, they just cut off, they get a new director in, it just goes west, a bit like the...
Marvel now, isn't it? Really rubbish.
Not really. What do they say? Who's the woman who says with the timeline can be split or branched out?
Sarah Connor?
No, this is in Avengers. I forget now. So anyway, I know your answer to this, but talking about great movies, great trilogies, or great series of movies, the Avengers has got to be up there in top 5, regardless if you like them or not.
Yeah, no issue with that. So you talk. I mean, I think that obviously I'm going to say Lord of the Rings should be there.
Yeah,
I think Star Wars should probably be there for the cultural impact it's had.
Yeah, very good.
But then you get into the more interesting ones, which I would say is Pirates of the Caribbean, Godfather.
How many of Pirates of the Caribbean are there?
Like 5 or 6.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say the Godfather trilogy is one to consider. I think that Rocky is definitely. If you had to delete either Avengers or Rocky so that they never existed, which one would you go for? It's got. I know. For me,
Avengers.
I'm keeping Rocky.
Yeah, I'll keep Rocky as well. Rocky.
So are you deleting the Avengers?
I would for Rocky, only because it's Rocky. I think Rocky is a great movie. Because from 1977 was it when the first Rocky came out, and even today they're doing a Creed series, so it's longer, stands longer, and it's still relevant to this day.
James
Bond?
A
great story, isn't it? James Bond. Yeah, you have to give James Bond. That's been going forever, hasn't it? Since the late 60s with Sean Connery. And I do like the recent Bond. Daniel Craig, is it?
I think so. They're not my type of films.
But I think the films have been good compared to sort of Pierce Brosnan movies.
I like GoldenEye.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, look, James Bond isn't for me. Like the Avengers isn't for me. Like I'm not the target audience for them. Like I like Legally Blonde over those sort of films and Pitch Perfect. And I really like the Dirty Harry. Like, well, not necessarily. Yeah. I really like the Fistful of Dollars trilogy.
Yeah, Few Dollars more.
Yeah, Good, the Bad,
the Ugly. Yeah, quality.
I really like those. But I actually saw an incredible film at the weekend, Yabba. It was amazing. Well, right. So, sometimes your girlfriend will get a film recommendation and they'll go, you have to watch this film. And you think, for God's sake. I'm either watching a film about a girl who moves from the countryside to the big city and has a dream job, or I'm watching a film about how loads of men want a girl and you think, this is going to be rubbish. We watched a film called Moon Man, and I'll give you the first 20 minutes as a setup, right?
Moon Man.
All right, I'll give you
the hero.
Kind of.
Is he the Avengers?
Basically, yeah.
What's his power?
All right. So this is the first 20 minutes.
Put his pants down.
No, he goes to the moon. I see what you mean, man. the Moon Man, kind of like Braveheart, where they all moon at the English. So Moon Man, right? There's a big comet coming to blow up the Earth. And they all they spend 8 years on the moon. They're all Chinese, and they make a big nuclear bomb to shoot the moon, to shoot the comet.
Yeah.
Comet goes past. They go up. They blow it up, and it kind of doesn't go to plan. There's still a little bit of comet, but unfortunately, they've left the janitor behind. So they all go back to Earth, which gets hit, and they have to live underground. And there's this little Chinese man stuck on the moon by himself with no one around. And he spends a bit of time trying to entertain himself, like all this kind of stuff. He's seen the Earth blow up, so he thinks he's the only man left. Yeah. He goes into a storage room. He opens the door, and there's a kangaroo. And him and the kangaroo go on a series of adventures to try and get back to Earth. And it is one of the most insanely stupid films I've seen, but it's got so much heart to it. It is absolutely incredible.
So did you get to watch the ending?
I've seen the ending. I've seen the whole thing. Like, that's just the first 20 minutes. It's him and a CGI kangaroo doing The Martian. And it's honestly, check it out. Moon Man 2022.
Imagine taking that script to the movies, Hollywood, or in China's Hollywood, and get accepted. Oh my God, what's the world coming to? Moon Man, that's poor. That's poor.
It's not poor. You haven't even seen it. Like, you're telling us we're judging Xerxes too quickly.
How can a script like that be accepted? That's to people saying, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea." You know, you and a kangaroo. I mean, how far can you take it? Is it funny?
What about Castaway? Like, all right, there's a bloke that's going to be living on an island, and his only friend is a volleyball.
Wasn't there a film with a guy on a boat where there's a tiger on a boat, a little kid or something?
Yes, The Life of Pi.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was.
I've never seen that.
All right, but you seem to know the story. Okay. Jesus for half time, says Mr. B.
I'll send you photos of it, Mr. B.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Honestly, it's absolutely wonderful. You know those moments in films where you kind of like punch the air and stuff like that. There's a couple in that, like, in this film. It's like, it was for me a film you weren't expecting, like, to be any good, and by the end of it, you are completely invested in Young the janitor and him trying to get home. It is wonderful.
Mr. B saying here, Mr. V saying here, best sci-fi film in the modern era is Interstellar. I haven't seen that. Science is accurate. I haven't seen that.
Science is accurate. That's a film where someone's dead daughter lives inside a watch. I don't think that's happening.
Well, you're a scientist. The whole film, says Mr. B. Stephanie saying, yeah, but you don't realize the gravity of these films. It eclipses all the films. Well done, very good. Life of Pi didn't impress me, says V. But the shot of the tiger, in the cage, looking at PI, was absolutely jaw-dropping. Love tigers. Who wins? I'll ask a question in a minute about that. Yeah. I agree. I like Squid Games in Korean. If you watch it dub, it's absolutely rubbish, says Vincent. Barry Bartide Norman says Stephanie, you watched the full film. I bet you did. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Five side of ancient rulers, historical figures. Oh,
Socrates.
Put down pause. I might struggle with that one. You didn't understand the film.
Yeah, I didn't understand the film. Yeah, you're right.
Who wins? Now, this has been the eternal question. Now, the lions are the king of the jungle, but tigers, a pound for pound, are bigger, and their paw striking ability is good as well. So, who do you think? Because I've seen lots of clips and everything. You got a big male lion versus a tiger. Who wins?
I mean, I'm thinking the lion. Right. So you're looking at predators. A tiger is pace and power, essentially. That's how it takes animals down. Like, so if you want to relate it to football, prey have good long distance running, and that's how they get away from predators. So this is all explosiveness over 5 yards or so. I think the mass of the lion probably gives it an advantage here, because I'm not
Tiger's
sure.
bigger and heavier, stronger.
Is it heavier? The tiger?
Heavier and bigger than the.
Then I probably go with the tiger, because it's basically about whichever one can pin the other one down, and like bite it and stuff. But I'm not a biologist. I don't really sort of like go in for.
I've heard. I was asked the guys. Well, I've got my view on it. Tigers are bigger and faster than lions. Their solitary lifestyle gives them the edge over the lion because they're used to fighting one versus one. Lions survive in coalitions.
Yeah, lions are better at pressing as a group.
Yeah,
like tigers. A tiger is more like Haaland or something like that. He's great over short distances, too strong and powerful.
But what got it
Lions,
to me, I think tigers got this paw striking ability. They can strike. They can sit, go up on their twos, stand up and strike.
That's a bear, I think, isn't
it? No, tigers are really good at that, but lions can't do that so much. So when you see tigers and male lions fighting, the tiger will pop, like home cats, like your domestic cat.
I reckon a kangaroo does them.
No.
Kangaroos are incredible boxers.
Yeah, I've seen.
So if you're both standing up and the tiger is standing up and it's like rah, the kangaroo's hand speed. Yeah, but it's not be able to catch it, is it? It'll jump over him. Like I've seen Moon Man and I've seen kangaroos fly spaceships. Like there's going to be no problems for them.
The reason, here's the thing. This is what matches up. Tiger's bigger, pound for pound, way heavier, and got a better fighting ability. But because tigers fight alone, also they're ambush creatures. They got the camouflage, strike, and bring someone down.
They're hunters.
They're hunters like that. Whereas male lions are absolutely relentless. They do not give up. This is what gives them the edge. We talk about players. We refer to football. A tiger would be an ambush creature, someone who'd like be a fox in a box.
Right, show me the stance of a lion now when it's fighting.
It just comes head on with his mane because the mane's protection.
All right, so just do it. Just do it. Okay, now show me the tiger.
Tiger be chop.
Right, show me the lion again.
I
think I've got to go for the lion based on that because it's about the damage that the tiger is doing compared to the. Is it like single target damage from the lion? I reckon is higher. Whereas but
the tigers are about preservation. So sometimes they won't take something which is going to be dangerous to them because they won't be able to survive. But the lion's relentless. This is what gives the lion the edge. I think it would not give up, like a player like Roy Keane. Will just not give up. Will keep coming. That's my view on it. But it's still. I'm not convinced completely.
Let's say, Mr. B is a tiger, and you're a lion. Yeah. I think I go for Mr. B in Mortal Kombat. He's too relentless.
Well, I've told you the story. I've seen Mr. B in action. And
outside Old Trafford.
Yeah. He like there's 3 or 4, 5 guys who sprinted away from Mr. B, like once he started doing all that thing, running towards them, barking and snarling and all that kind of thing. So
he's probably like a honey badger, to be honest.
Oh my god, they're bad, aren't they? I love them. All right, let's
just one last thing. Shout out to Mr. B. You knew exactly what I was doing, getting Yabba to do continuous impressions of animals. I hope that you enjoyed that one. That was for you.
Okay. All right.
Show me the tiger stance again, Yabba.
Good one. Show me. See, I can't do it to you. I have to do sound effects then. What noise is that?
George Michael as a tiger.
Martha, what noise does a tiger make?
Wow. I told you this is what we used to do. I must have told you the tiger and lion stories.
Another time. Let's cut this.
All right, okay.
We've got on too much. Guys, don't forget, tomorrow is going to be a good one. We are watching the future Man United manager in his last game with Sporting Lisbon. Will the players let him down, or will they go out there and get a great result against Man City? What a test for Sporting Lisbon. And let's see how they play, their playing style, and we will assess it after the show. If you want to come on, remember, Tyrone, if you want to come on after the show and discuss what you've seen, Champions League, Sporting versus Man City, our new manager, then check us out, give us a shout, and you can come on tomorrow night. V's asking what time is it tomorrow? Well, after Champions games, 10, 15, 10, 20?
No, what time is kickoff?
Oh, 8 o'clock, is it?
I think it's an 8 o'clock one.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you join in. Yes, join in, guys. Join in, and don't forget. Oh yeah, should we do the five-a-side quickly?
Historical figures.
Yeah, I had it up here somewhere.
Socrates has to be in it.
Why?
Well, because he was a footballer who was very good, and Socrates is the father of like Western philosophy.
Yeah.
So he's a historical figure.
I'll do the ancient rulers, and I'll do the historical figures.
Ancient rulers. Yeah. Henry VIII in goal.
He's a historical figure as well, but okay, go on.
Well, he's a ruler. He's brilliant.
Ancient doesn't that mean sort of? This is like medieval times.
Well, okay. What's
not that long ago? Ancient.
All right. Up front, I'll go for Dido of Carthage.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. You know who Hannibal was?
Who?
Hannibal.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right, elephants. He'll be my central midfielder.
Yeah.
Is this mythical or is this like his ancient? Because I could go like Hercules as my centre back.
Yeah, I would go with that. Yeah, he's very strong. You won't get past him.
So a goalkeeper, I need someone who was good with their hands. I'll go for Midas, King Midas. Ball comes out, he gets hands on it, it goes gold. Easy. He's crossed it. And then some forwards. Mr. B's put Moses in centre midfield. You wouldn't have him in defence because it would just part. Good
one. I love it.
Moses has got to be the creative player, finding spaces, leading his team up the pitch. I need one more.
Yeah, one short. Moses.
Can I go with? I think we need. I'm going to put Bodicea in. We need some British. We need some British in this team.
Okay.
So I'll go for St. George, killing the dragon.
That's a great team.
Break down low blocks and stuff like that. So we've got King Midas in goal, Hercules at centre back, Moses and Hannibal in midfield, and St. George up front.
That's brilliant. Historical figures. It's similar to saying it's kind of the same, aren't they? All right, I'll go Winston Churchill in goal.
Okay.
He will battle on the pitches. He will battle on the trenches.
Yeah.
I will go for Gandhi at left back.
Good reach. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. I would go for Idi Amin as the other centre back.
Jesus Christ, Yabba.
You're not going to mess with him.
No, the butcher.
Back off. In these historical figures, yeah. I would go for, do you remember Coney? The guy Coney.
What, the warlord?
Yeah, the warlord. I put him in midfield. You need a strong guy like that in midfield.
Yeah, Coney and Stalin, that great double pivot.
I don't like to mention those guys, and I'm not going to mention anyone from Germany in the 30s either. But yeah, I'll go for Coney in midfield, and I need a striker up front. Who will score goals for me?
Rasputin.
That's a good one. Let me think about who would score goals. Great historical leader.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, I'll go Robin Hood. Yeah.
So you've got Gandhi in defence with Idi Amin.
Coney, Winston Churchill, Gandhi, Idi Amin, Coney, and up front is Robin Hood. That's 5. All right, we're going to shut it down. This is getting stupid now, guys.
Yes, it is.
The people are still hanging around. 15 people. We'll get it live. Shut it.
If you're watching later, put in your top 5 historical figures with as little dictators, warlords, or war criminals as possible, please.
Okay. And any themes for tomorrow after the game, for the sporting game against Man City, let us know. But that's enough from us. We've been really silly tonight, but it's all fun. It's all fun and games. But tomorrow we get back to serious work, and that is obviously watching our future boss. So come on, guys, make sure you tune in and go and support Bath Time at 8 o'clock. Bath Time, last word.
No, what are you talking about? We're not doing it at 8 o'clock. It's not watch along.
I was not
It's a
doing
reaction show.
watch along.
No, reaction show.
All right, okay. Well, watch the game and then go and tune in with us after the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it'll be 10:15ish. But get your notifications on, like the video and things. Dress code is double denim for all of you that are coming on.
With the collars up, yeah?
Yeah. And we'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
See you later, guys. God bless.